Okay, just say anything.
That's a repertoire, what I have said. Well, all I can tell you, this is a complete surprise. I don't know how, with so many people, how you managed to keep this a secret. It was completely a secret. And I got all dressed up because, well, it was my birthday. So, what can I tell you? Words of wisdom. For one thing, I attribute my old age to the wine drinking, really. I don't like to make drunkards out of everybody.
I think it's beating the tom-toms.
Oh, definitely. The exercise. All through my life, I've gotten a lot of exercise. That is the main thing to do, is to exercise.
Which I don't get. Oh. But I always look young.
Now, what can I tell you that hasn't been said before? Nothing. Except that I love it here, and the food is excellent, and I recommend it to everybody. And they can come and visit and have some food here. Yeah.
How about when you were playing in New York and you went down to see who's the woman that was a singer back then, a very popular singer, Billie Holiday. Tell the story about Billie Holiday.
Well, in 1942, when New York was filled and crowded with sailors and
closer.
Soldiers,
you got to hold it closer.
Sailors and soldiers going overseas, and the big bands, Betty Goodman and Charlie Barnett, and almost all of them had cut down their bands because they were all going into the service, and that's where they started to put in the girl musicians, which was great. I had to be in New York. I was joining the union, and I couldn't work for 2 months. It turned out that I did work because some girls asked me to audition with them, but I couldn't accept the job, but we could get them work, get the contract. That was on 52nd Street, the place where all the big bands then cut down their big bands and came to 52nd Street to play. And that's just where this little group played, and we had auditioned for them. And I had to go to the union to get special permission to play when I'm not supposed to play for 2 months. Because the girl musicians said they didn't have another drummer to put in there. And they wouldn't book it without me because who else would do the job, be there. So I got into being in New York, and that's where I joined Phil Spitanly. It all worked very easily, and just, I couldn't have planned it better because I got tired of traveling. My sister was just getting married. She and I were the only ones left in our orchestra, the Coquettes orchestra. So when she got married, then this was a perfect out for me. And some of the girls didn't mind at all. Most of the girls didn't mind that we closed the orchestra because 2 wanted to go back to college, and 1 wanted, 2 husbands insisted that the marriages would break up unless they came back. Because we were traveling all the time, and they had to leave their husbands, 1 in California and 1 in Wisconsin. So it worked out just fine that I was free to come to New York, get my card, and then I had to work with the group, which was fine, on 52nd Street, the sweet street of New York. And there, night after night,
there we go.
Between, we were working there with a group, little group, and every intermission, which was a half hour, every group would come and visit the other groups on the street. Billie Holiday was one place, Artie Shaw was another, Betty Goodman was another. All these musicians were with little groups, and Billie Holiday, there was no room for us, so they made room for us. On a corner, they put a tablecloth and set it up in front of the band. So I sat right next to Billie Holiday, and I looked straight up to see her sing, and her dress was all over me, and I had to pull away from her because it was disturbing me. I mean, she was moving around, and it was always, and I was trying to look up to see her sing, but the table was closer, was right up to here, and here was Billie, right here. That's how crowded those places were. Well, all the places were jammed with Swing Street, they call it.
And you went to Birdland, right?
Birdland was there too, but nearby, but that wasn't part of that street at that time. Birdland was popular later. But this was just during the war years, early war years, with all these boys in uniform, all through the town and everywhere. New York was really happy because you have millions of extra people there because of the war. And I was there when it was all happening. It was really very exciting to be there. Wow. We were playing at the Paramount Theater for 2 months, and the Sinatra with Dorsey Orchestra was playing at the Astor Hotel, which is right next to the theater. So not only that, but after working hours, which is 1 in the morning, the musicians from the various parts of town would go to the ribs place for ribs. So Dorsey's musicians, our musicians, are from Spitanly Orchestra, and various musicians around town would go up to this place and have ribs. And they had large booths, and the place wasn't very large, so everybody, all the booths were filled with Dorsey's musicians and us and the next big booths. And so a few times I was in the booth with Sinatra, and then 2 of the times he asked me to meet him where he was playing, and we'd go out afterward on a date.
Wow.
But I thought to myself, oh, that, he was so ugly. Like a face, he must have had a facelift or something. Because he looked gorgeous afterward, but for those years he looked just terrible. That's when he was breaking away from town, from Dorsey Orchestra and going on his own. At that juncture, that was the last date he played at the Astor Hotel with Dorsey. So here he was asking me out, and I thought, I never dreamed, of course he was married, but that didn't deter me. If I wanted to go out, I would have gone out. I didn't want to go out with that scrawny, like a ghost. Real white, his skin very white. He was not a sportsman, he was just...
Big bow tie. He had a big, used to sing with a big bow tie.
Yeah, big bow tie,
and
those
a skinny
years.
neck.
The blue eyes didn't do anything for you, huh?
No. I must say, they were really blue. I mean, you don't always see really blue eyes. They're always sort of in between, like mine. So, anyway, what can I tell you? I want to tell you how to live longer.
Please.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Adele Davis.
Wine.
She did. She said wine.
Yeah. Adele Davis.
Adele, what would you say one?
No.
Oh, wine.
Yeah,
Yes,
she-
Adele Davis. I read all the
No,
books.
she did.
Oh, the Adele Davis books.
3 of them, 3 books, and I did what she wanted me to do. And she had recipe for old age, but unfortunately, she died after writing the books. She told me how to live long, and then she died.
So you drink red wine?
Well, yes, this is long ago with Adele Davis. The red wine is a more recent thing. That there's a place in southern France where the whole population lives longer than all the rest of France, although they're all winemakerers, but not as much as in this particular town at the base of the Pyrenees Mountains down in southern France.